What if the vegetables and herbs you grow in containers could take care of their own next generation, dropping seeds, surviving winter, and sprouting again without you ever having to buy a new packet? What if you could watch a single pot transform season after season, turning itself into a perpetual source of fresh greens, fragrant herbs, and even tiny fruits? Here are 10 remarkable plants that prove this is possible, each one a quiet champion of self-seeding and garden resilience. Number 10. Arugula. Arugula may be the most underestimated leafy green in a container garden. Yet its life cycle contains a hidden treasure trove of seed production tricks that most hobbyists never notice. In early spring, its tender, pepper-spiced leaves form a lush carpet that looks perfect for salads. But the moment a heatwave arrives, the plant suddenly bolts, sending up a thin stalk crowned with tiny white flowers. Most gardeners see the flowering stage and immediately dig up the plant, assuming it is past its prime. In reality, that is the precise moment the plant begins to fulfill its natural purpose, producing seed pods. As the flowers fade, slender pods turn from green to a dry brown, and a gentle breeze or a light rain will cause them to split open, scattering hundreds of tiny arugula seeds onto the soil that lies just beneath the pot's rim. Because the container confines the seeds, they stay where they are needed instead of being whisked away by the wind. Arugula seeds are exceptionally patient. They do not germinate the instant they touch moist soil. Instead, they wait for the temperature to drop below the summer heat, often staying dormant through the hottest weeks of July and August. When the first cool rains of late summer arrive, the seeds awaken en masse, and a new layer of bright green leaves erupts from the same pot that once looked empty. Even in colder climates, such as the northern United States, Canada, or the temperate zones of Europe, those seeds can endure months under snow, only to burst forth as soon as the soil thaws in early spring. In the Mediterranean, where winter rains are plentiful but daytime temperatures stay mild, arugula can produce 2 distinct seed flushes in a single year, giving you a continuous supply of fresh leaves. To keep this cycle going, simply leave 1 or 2 healthy plants untouched when the first flowers appear. Do not harvest every leaf and resist the urge to clean out the container at the end of the season. Allow the seed pods to mature fully, then give nature a few extra weeks. By the following spring, you will likely discover a full-sized salad crop emerging without having opened a single seed packet. For those who love to experiment, sprinkle a thin layer of compost over the seed-laden surface. The added organic matter not only improves moisture retention, but also provides a microhabitat for beneficial soil microbes that encourage faster germination. Number 9. Cilantro. Cilantro is notorious for bolting quickly, and many gardeners blame themselves for its short lifespan. The truth is that cilantro is designed to shift its energy from leaf production to seed formation as soon as temperatures rise. Tiny clusters of white flowers appear at the top of the plant, attracting bees, flies, and other pollinators. Those flowers develop into hard-shelled seeds that protect the embryo through frost and even the harshest northern winters. When the seed coats dry to a warm golden brown, a light splash of water or a gentle shake of the pot will release the seeds onto the surrounding soil. Because the seeds are encased in a robust outer layer, they can survive the freeze-thaw cycles of winter in places like the upper Midwest or the British Isles. Once spring returns, the seeds germinate at staggered intervals, some emerging early, others later, providing a continuous supply of fresh cilantro leaves throughout the growing season. In hot, arid regions of the Southwest, the seeds can lie dormant for months, only breaking dormancy after a sudden monsoon shower, which makes cilantro an ideal hedge against unpredictable rainfall patterns. An added bonus is that you can harvest the mature seeds before they fall. Those seeds are the spice coriander, with a citrusy, slightly sweet flavor prized in curries, marinades, and baked goods. By dedicating a single pot to cilantro, you end up with 2 distinct harvests: bright green leaves early in the season and aromatic coriander seeds later on. To maximize this dual yield, refrain from cleaning the container after the plants finish flowering. Let the dried stems and seed heads remain for a few weeks, giving the seeds ample time to drop naturally into the soil. In the next spring, you'll be greeted by a carpet of cilantro seedlings sprouting exactly where you left them. For a flavor twist, try planting a companion of lettuce or spinach nearby. The shade they provide can temper the heat that normally forces cilantro to bolt, extending the leaf harvest period while still allowing seed production. Number 8. Calendula. Calendula, with its cheerful yellow-orange blossoms, is often relegated to the role of ornamental filler, yet it is a powerhouse of self-seeding efficiency. The plant thrives in shallow containers, making it ideal for window boxes, balcony planters, or small patio pots. Throughout the summer, it blooms almost non-stop, drawing bees, hoverflies, and even lady beetles that help control aphids elsewhere in the garden. When the flowering period wanes, each blossom forms a distinctive seed head that resembles a tiny, curved fishhook. These seeds are relatively heavy, so instead of drifting away on the wind, they fall directly beneath the parent plant, settling into the loose potting mix. Calendula seeds possess an unusual cold tolerance. They can germinate while the soil is still chilly, often emerging in early spring long before many other vegetables have broken dormancy. In coastal regions of California, where winter fog keeps temperatures moderate, calendula may produce a second flush of seedlings in late autumn, offering year-round color and edible foliage. The petals themselves are edible, packed with antioxidants and flavonoids that lend a mild, peppery flavor to salads, soups, and infused oils. To keep a calendula pot productive year after year, avoid deadheading the final flowers. Let the seed heads dry on the plant, then allow rain or a gentle shake to release the seeds into the soil. Over winter, the seeds remain dormant, and as soon as the soil warms, they sprout, providing fresh foliage and blossoms without any additional planting effort. Gardeners who add a thin layer of sand on top of the potting mix often find that the seeds settle more evenly, resulting in a more uniform carpet of seedlings when spring arrives. Number 7. Dill is most commonly cultivated for its feathery fronds, which flavor pickles, fish dishes, and fresh salads. Yet the plant's true magic begins when it sends up clusters of bright yellow flowers that look like miniature umbrellas. Those flower heads become a magnet for beneficial insects. Honeybees, native solitary bees, hoverflies, lacewings, and the striking black swallowtail butterfly all visit the blooms, turning a single dill pot into a miniature pollinator haven. After the flowers fade, they produce an abundance of tiny, flat seeds that disperse gently within the container. In an open garden, the seeds may travel farther on the breeze, but in a pot they settle directly onto the soil, often germinating the following spring. The resulting seedlings are well adapted to the same microclimate as the parent plant, meaning they inherit the same resilience to temperature swings and moisture variations. In cooler northern latitudes, the seed coat of dill can tolerate frost down to 10 degrees Celsius, allowing gardeners to sow the seeds in late summer for a spring harvest. To ensure dill continues its self-seeding cycle, resist the temptation to harvest every leaf and never cut off the final flower heads. Allow the seed heads to turn a light brown, then give the pot a gentle shake or simply wait for a gust of wind to scatter the seeds. The next season, you'll likely find fresh dill seedlings emerging among your tomatoes, peppers, or cucumbers, providing both culinary flavor and ecological benefits without any extra work. For an added layer of utility, interplant a small dwarf tomato variety in the same container. Dill's aromatic foliage can deter tomato pests such as spider mites, while the tomato's shade helps keep the dill soil cool during midsummer heat spikes. Number 6. Nasturtium. Nasturtium is often admired for its brilliant orange, red, or yellow flowers and its peppery, cucumber-like leaves, but its role as a self-seeding garden ally is even more impressive. The plant's trailing stems spill over the edges of containers, creating a low-lying carpet that suppresses weeds and offers a constant source of edible foliage. When the blossoms fade, they give way to seed pods that are noticeably larger than those of many other herbs. These pods dry to a tan hue, and because of their size, settle quickly into the potting medium rather than being whisked away. The seeds are protected by a natural mulch of fallen leaves, which retains moisture and buffers temperature fluctuations throughout winter. When spring arrives, the seeds germinate almost simultaneously, often sprouting right where the parent plant once stood or even in neighboring pots, as if the garden itself is choosing the optimal spot for the next generation. In Mediterranean climates, where summer drought can be severe, the seed coat's waxy exterior prevents premature germination, ensuring the seeds wait for the first autumn rains. Beyond their self-seeding prowess, nasturtium flowers are edible and can be used to garnish salads, make herbal teas, or infuse oils. Their leaves add a zesty kick to sandwiches and stir-fries. To keep a nasturtium container thriving year after year, simply avoid over-cleaning the pot after the growing season. Let the dried seed pods remain in place for a few weeks, then allow rain or a light breeze to release the seeds into the soil. In the next growing season, you'll find a dense mat of green foliage and vibrant flowers reappearing without any additional sowing. For gardeners seeking natural pest control, planting nasturtium alongside beans or cucumbers can deter aphids and whiteflies, turning the self-seeding container into a multifunctional ally. Number 5. Garlic chives. Garlic chives, Allium tuberosum, differ from common chives by offering broader, flatter leaves that carry a subtle garlic aroma without the need to grow a full garlic bulb. Once established in a container, the plant is essentially perennial, sending up new shoots each spring from the same underground clump. What makes it a standout self-seeder is its prolific flowering stage. Tall stalks, crowned with clusters of tiny white star-shaped flowers, develop late in the season, and each flower transforms into a seed capsule containing dozens of glossy black seeds. When the capsules dry, they split open and the seeds fall directly around the parent plant. Over successive years, the container becomes increasingly dense with foliage, creating a living mulch that suppresses weed germination and reduces the need for manual weeding. The leaves are ready to harvest at any time. A quick snip adds a fresh garlic note to potatoes, eggs, dumplings, or stir-fries, and new growth appears within days. In colder zones such as USDA Hardiness Zone 5, the underground clump can survive under a light mulch of straw, allowing the plant to re-emerge each spring even after a hard freeze. To encourage continuous self-seeding, refrain from removing every flower head. Allow the seed capsules to mature fully, then let rain or a gentle shake disperse the seeds into the surrounding soil. By the following spring, you'll notice a proliferation of new shoots emerging from the base, turning a single pot into a thriving, low-maintenance herb garden that supplies flavor year after year. For an extra layer of interest, intersperse a few basil seedlings in the same pot. The basil's aromatic oils can repel some of the pests that occasionally nibble at garlic chive leaves, creating a harmonious micro-ecosystem. Number 4. Radishes are typically harvested for their crisp, peppery roots after just a few weeks of growth, but if you let the plant finish its life cycle, it offers a surprising second harvest. Once the root reaches the ideal size and is pulled, the plant redirects its energy upward, sending a flowering stalk that bears delicate white, pink, or lavender blossoms. These flowers attract bees and other pollinators, adding visual interest to the container and supporting nearby plants that rely on insect visitation. After pollination, the plant produces slender green seed pods that resemble tiny chili peppers. While still young, these pods are crunchy and possess a milder, slightly sweeter version of the classic radish bite, perfect for fresh salads, quick sauté, or light pickling. As the pods mature, they dry and eventually split open, scattering hundreds of tiny radish seeds onto the soil surface. Some of those seeds germinate in the late summer, delivering a quick second round of radish greens before the first frost. Others lie dormant through winter, only to emerge in early spring when the soil warms. In coastal New England gardens, where winter soils stay cool but not frozen, radish seeds can germinate as early as March, giving a head start on the season's other leafy greens. Gardeners who leave a few radish plants untouched after the initial root harvest will find a continuous cycle of seed production and new seedlings without any additional sowing. This practice not only extends the edible yield of the radish plant, but also teaches patience. Allowing nature to finish what it started yields unexpected rewards. For a culinary twist, try planting a small amount of daikon radish in the same pot. The larger varieties produce a different texture and both will self-seed, creating a mixed radish salad that matures at staggered intervals throughout the year. Number 3. Parsley. Parsley is a biennial herb that spends its first year establishing a robust root system, Then in the second year, sends up tall flower stalks dotted with tiny yellow-green umbels. Many gardeners cut off these flower stalks, believing the plant has become old and unproductive, but the flowering stage is actually the gateway to self-seeding. Each tiny flower gives rise to a seed that matures into a small brown capsule. When the capsules dry, they fall directly onto the potting mix and remain there through winter. Because the seeds are relatively large compared to those of arugula or dill, they settle quickly and are partially shielded by fallen leaves, which act as natural mulch. In early spring, as soon as the soil thaws, the seeds germinate, often sprouting in a scattered pattern around the original plant. Some seedlings appear right beside the old plant, while others emerge near the edge of the container, creating a gentle expansion of the parsley patch. In regions with mild winters, such as the Pacific Northwest, parsley seeds can germinate through a light frost, giving you a head start on the herb market before many other crops even break ground. Leaving the flower stalks intact and allowing the seed capsules to mature fully ensures a steady supply of parsley leaves year after year, eliminating the need to purchase new seed packets. The flowers themselves also support beneficial insects, adding ecological value to the container garden. For a visual contrast, consider planting a few ornamental thyme seedlings alongside parsley. The low-growing thyme forms a fragrant carpet that complements the taller parsley shoots, and both will self-seed, creating a layered herb border that looks as good as it tastes. Number 2. Wild cherry tomato. The wild cherry tomato, Solanum pimpinellifolium, is a compact, hardy variety that thrives in containers with minimal care. Unlike many cultivated tomatoes that demand intensive pruning, staking, and disease management, this heirloom type tolerates heat, drought, and occasional frost with remarkable ease. Its true self-seeding advantage appears at the end of the season. Overripe tomatoes naturally split open on the soil surface, exposing the gelatinous interior that protects the seeds. As rain, microbes, and ambient temperature break down the jelly, the seeds are released and settle into the potting medium. They then endure the winter months in a dormant state, ready to germinate as soon as soil temperatures rise in spring. Because the seeds have never been subjected to indoor seed starting conditions, the resulting seedlings are already acclimated to the outdoor environment, often exhibiting stronger stems and greater vigor than seedlings raised under grow lights. In hot, dry climates such as Arizona, the seed coat's natural oils help retain moisture, allowing the seeds to wait out long summer droughts before sprouting when the first monsoon showers arrive. By simply allowing a few fully ripe tomatoes to fall and decompose in the pot, you can create a self-sustaining cycle that produces new tomato plants without any additional sowing. These volunteer seedlings typically emerge early enough to produce a full crop, and because the plant is naturally compact, it fits comfortably in balcony boxes or window planters. To encourage an even more vigorous stand, scatter a thin layer of crushed eggshells over the soil after the seeds have dropped. The calcium released from the shells improves fruit quality and helps deter common tomato pests such as tomato hornworms. Number 1. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea. Purslane is frequently labeled a weed, yet when cultivated intentionally, it becomes a champion of self-seeding in containers. The cultivated golden purslane variety produces succulent, slightly salty leaves that are prized for salads, sandwiches, and smoothies. Its growth habit is incredibly resilient. It tolerates drought, poor soils, and even periods of neglect, continuing to produce foliage long after many other vegetables have wilted. A single mature purslane plant can generate up to 240,000 microscopic seeds. Tiny yellow flowers bloom prolifically, and when they close, they release countless seeds that settle directly onto the surface of the potting mix. Those seeds are exceptionally hardy, surviving scorching summer heat, freezing winter temperatures, and remaining viable for years until conditions become favorable. In desert-edge gardens of the Southwest, purslane seeds can lie dormant for up to 3 years, sprouting after a rare winter rain that softens the compacted soil. By dedicating a single pot to purslane and allowing the plant to complete its natural cycle, letting the seed heads mature and fall, you create a perpetual source of nutritious greens. Purslane is unusually rich in omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins A, C, and E, as well as magnesium and potassium, making it one of the most nutrient-dense leafy vegetables available. Its leaves add a pleasant crunch and a subtle, salty tang to a wide range of dishes, from fresh salads to stir-fries. To harness purslane's self-seeding power, Simply avoid pulling the plant out when the flowers appear. Let the seed heads dry on the plant, then allow rain or a gentle breeze to disperse the seeds into the soil. Over winter, the seeds lie dormant, and when spring arrives, they germinate en masse, filling the container with fresh foliage without any additional planting effort. For gardeners who enjoy a splash of color, interplant a few dwarf marigold seedlings among the purslane. The marigold's bright petals attract additional pollinators, while their root exudates help suppress soil-borne fungal pathogens that can occasionally affect purslane. In summary, these 10 plants, Arugula, Cilantro, Calendula, Dill, Nasturtium, garlic chives, radish, parsley, wild cherry tomato, and purslane, demonstrate that a container garden can be far more self-sufficient than most of us assume. By asking yourself, what if my vegetables could plant themselves? And then letting nature finish what it started, you can dramatically cut down on seed purchases, reduce the labor of replanting each spring, and enjoy a garden that becomes richer, more productive, and more vibrant year after year. What if you let these 10 champions do the work for you?